She's one of my favorite people and poets in the scene.
She's one of the most multi-talented human beings I've ever had the pleasure of calling my friend. Welcome, Sarah Kaye.
Miss Sarah Kaye.
From New York, please give a warm Dead Poetry welcome to 18-year-old Sarah Kaye.
Happy. You jaywalked your way out of the womb. I would recognize you anywhere, from the hiccup in your swagger. Tell me, where in the world did you find all that thunder?
What is spoken word? I mean, isn't that something that I heard on the radio a minute ago when I turned up the volume to get a little crescendo? When my system was bumping, my friends were jumping, and 50 was talking about pumping some lead into some dude with his Beretta just so he can better his sickest vendetta.
Because DJ Uncle Sam's been spinning worldwide. I mean, his shit's been on top since like 1945.
We're bringing Imperial back.
Yep.
The mother countries don't know how to act.
Where does hip-hop go when it dies? Is it all just maggots and flies, or will hip-hop rise and come again?
Because I know at hip-hop's birth, the room smelled thick of dark chocolate, and decades later, my white frosting might be ruining the recipe. Me, pretending the Teflon, ghost riding the Nissan, trying to put a few pounds on so I can fill out the Sean John.
When you don't have a date for prom, I'll let you take my cousin.
When your hard drive crashes, I will let you borrow my porn.
I was a man on a mission, which is to say, girl with a bucket.
P.S. I was thinking about it a lot today, and I'm pretty sure Mom and Dad did have sex.
Now, I've seen Middle Eastern hands clenched in Middle Eastern fists, pounding against each other like war drums. Each country sees their fists as warriors and others as enemies, even if fists alone are only hands.
Poetry is produced by the cerebrum, which is pink, and the vocal cords, which are red. If we spelled out our poems in blood, no one would care what color they came from.
You've taken to wearing around your father's hand-me-down anger, but I wish that you wouldn't.
You have me watching the stars, and no, I don't mean Brad and Angelina, I mean those stars. You got me watching them and thinking maybe you're watching the same ones that I am, and maybe that would be a good poem.
I will love you with too many commas, but never any asterisks. Because I have seen the best of you and the worst of you, and I choose both.
I want to be there to share every single one of your sunshines and save some for later.
I will tuck them into my pockets so I can give them back to you when the rains fall hard.
Friend, I want to be the mirror that reminds you to love yourself.
I want to be the air in your lungs that reminds you to breathe easy.
When the walls fall down.
When the thunder rumbles.
When nobody else is home. Hold my hand, and I promise
I won't let go. How did we get stuck in this MTV generation?
of this brand spanking new gangsta nation.
Where rap's regurgitation of hip-hop leads to a celebration
of intelligence constipation, where kids are losing all concentration
And trying to suppress their hard-earned education.
and planting instead
a language mutation of slang words and curses to give the sensation of
Pure teenage anger and social frustration.
It's not that we're shallow, no. It's that the surface of a lake won't move unless provoked. But throw in a stone and see how deep these waters are. It's not that we are shallow, no. It's that without something to focus on, we are left with only empty hearts and angry hormones.
Give us something to fight for and we will fight. Because ask the youth of the world today and they will tell you, we are not scared of dying for a cause. We are scared of not finding a cause worth dying for.
People used to tell me that I had beautiful hands. Told me so often, in fact, that one day I started to believe them. Until I asked my photographer father, hey, Daddy, could I be a hand model? To which he said, no way. I don't remember the reason he gave me, and I would have been upset, but there were far too many stuffed animals to hold, too many homework assignments to write, too many boys to wave at, too many years to grow. We used to have a game, my dad and I, about holding hands, because we held hands everywhere. And every time, either he or I would whisper a great big number to the other, pretending that we were keeping track of how many times we had held hands, that we were sure this one had to be 8,002,753. Hands learn more than minds do. Hands learn how to hold other hands, how to grip pencils and mold poetry, how to tickle pianos and dribble a basketball and grip the handles of a bicycle, how to hold old people and touch babies. I love hands like I love people. They're the maps and compasses with which we navigate our way through life. Some people read palms to tell your future, but I read hands to tell your past. Each scar marks a story worth telling. Each calloused palm, each cracked knuckle is a missed punch or years in a factory. Now, I've seen Middle Eastern hands clenched in Middle Eastern fists, pounding against each other like war drums. Each country sees their fists as warriors and others as enemies, even if fists alone are only hands. But this is not about politics. No, hands are not about politics. This is a poem about love and fingers. Fingers interlocked like a beautiful zipper of prayer. One time, I grabbed my dad's hand so that our fingers interlocked perfectly, but he changed positions, saying, no, that handhold is for your mom. Kids high five, but grown up, we learn how to shake hands. You need a firm handshake, but don't hold on too tight, but don't let go too soon, but don't hold down for too long. But hands are not about politics. When did it become so complicated? I always thought it simple. The other day, my dad looked at my hands as if seeing them for the first time, and with laughter behind his eyelids, with all the seriousness a man of his humor could muster, he said, you know, you've got nice hands. You could have been a hand model. And before the laughter can escape me, I shake my head at him and squeeze his hand. 8,002,754.
Wide-eyed, she asks me, what is spoken word? I mean, isn't that something that I heard on the radio a minute ago when I turned up the volume to get a little crescendo? When my system was bumping, my friends were jumping, and 50 was talking about pumping some lead into some dude with his Beretta just so he can better his sickest vendetta. And who are you, Phil Kaye? Because I just hate to say, but you look a couple shades too pale to sound like the songs that be singing about being out on bail, fresh out of jail, California dreaming, and more, and the Escalade on rims with the Lamborghini doors. And I said that is true. Because my shoe sole is void of holes, and my human soul is void of the scars you get from being behind bars, or the scars from waking up and feeling that no matter how wise you are, you'll always be marginalized by society's eyes. So no, I was not raised on the streets, but if you strip away those instrumental beats and the platinum teeth and ego, all you're left with is words. And all spoken word poetry is words arranged to try to propagate change or spread love or just open the mind. And if you press rewind on the timeline, you'll find that this is nothing edgy or new or underground. It can be found in the sound of Mahatma Gandhi's voice, drowned by the sound of cheers, calling for some with powerful ears to listen after all these years. It can be found in the whisper of your mother, reading you bedtime stories when you were too afraid to fall asleep alone. It can be found every day when he realizes he's actually in love. His words become doves, no stops to think of, just thinking, damn, we fit like a glove. You see, poetry is eternity, and we're just specks, you see, dabbling in its mystery, transcending history, and I once was blind, but now can write. So, no, I was not raised on the streets, but neither was poetry. It rose with the first sunrise, opened with the first eyes, comforted baby cries, gave birth to dragonflies, cursed me with my eyes. My eyes. My eyes that see a world obsessed with the us and the them, flowers and stems where British black and tans brutalize Irish blackened hands. And I don't understand, because poetry is produced by the cerebrum, which is pink, and the vocal cords, which are red. If we spelled out our poems in blood, no one would care what color they came from. So this is me. Right now, not knowing how I'm gonna get through the next 15 seconds. My future, it beckons, and I'm not quite ready to reckon with it yet. All I have is my soul, and somebody told me that that's poetry. So when I'm dead in the ground, my soul 6 feet down, my tombstone will read for some child to see and smile when he's done. Here lies a man's private poetry. Trespassers welcome.